Hello, everyone. This is Coach Tim Campsall, and I'm excited to have a fellow business owner with us today. Something unique about my guest is he cold called his way onto Wall Street, where he spent over a decade in M&A and private equity. We'll have him share a little bit more about that here in a minute. In his downtime, he enjoys being a dad and playing silly games with his kids, and we'll have him introduce them to us here. And he is super proud of earning the #1 Managed IT Service Award for Indiana and Chicago. And check this out, 116th globally. Wow, that is an incredible feat, especially given that his dad started the company out of his house back in 1989. It's my pleasure to welcome Erik to the show today. Hey, Erik.
Hey Tim, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, hey, let's start with having you introduce yourself, tell us your name and a little bit of your personal story, like where you were born and live and about your family.
Yeah, Erik Braden here, born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. So Hoosier at heart. I actually left for years and actually made my way back to build my family here in Fishers, Indiana. If you know Central Indiana, a great place to raise a family, community here, and I've actually built our headquarters here as well. So it's been quite the journey, and excited to tell you more about it.
Fantastic. And about tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, so I met my wife actually in New York City, which I'm sure we'll talk about, my Wall Street days. But that was a benefit to cold calling my way into Wall Street is actually I met my wife and got my kids. So you never know where a cold call might take you.
Right?
So my advice is pick up the phone. You never know where it's going to take you. But yeah, my daughter is 7 years old, Claire Braden, and then Leo Braden, 5 years old. So we're out of the diaper stage, but now we're in the toddler fighting stage. So I get to play referee at night and distract them with silly games at night. That's my job as a dad, and I love every second of it.
Fantastic. So cold called your way to Wall Street. Tell us the little backstory of that.
Yeah, no doubt. So I was born in 1985. Real side note, my dad started our company that I help lead now, Braden Business Systems. We'll get into what we do, why we do here briefly, but being born in 1985 in central Indiana, it wasn't the most exciting place on earth. So in the back of my mind, I always want to kind of get out of Indiana. No offense to Indiana, I love it now. The grass wasn't greener. But yeah, I decided after business school at Indiana Kelley School of Business, IU, I did a 3-year undergrad and 2-year MBA and was ready to get out of Indiana at that point. I loved it, loved every second at IU. It's not a slight against IU. That's the best place on earth, but was convicted to go and work on Wall Street. So I went to my dad and I'm like, hey, do you know anybody on Wall Street? You're successful in business and whatnot. He's like, well, actually, no, I don't, but I know how to pick up the phone. That's how I started the business. So that's what I did. I started picking up the phone. I called every recruiter on Wall Street I can get a hold of. And a poor woman out on the West Coast in LA at Bear Stearns, kept telling me to call back, call back, call back. And man, did I. So over about 7, 8 months, she's like, okay, I give up. You have your job. You're the
Nice.
only state school kid. Everyone else is Ivy League, but come on out to LA at Bear Stearns and the rest is history. So worked my way up through the ranks at Bear Stearns. We got acquired by JP Morgan. Was grateful to work in the M&A group with Jamie Dimon actually as an analyst in New
Wow.
York City
Yeah.
and had a blast. And in dog years, probably worked 20 years in five, and 150-hour work weeks, 3 a.m., you name it,
Yeah.
and private equity after that. So I'm grateful for the experience and wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow. Wow, that is so incredible. Yes, so you said it earlier, those who don't want to pick up the phone, you never know where it's going to lead.
Never know. I mean, I think action solves challenges, right? I mean, I think most people spend their time overthinking things. Planning is good, but not if it cripples you.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So tell us, I know that your dad started the business. How did it come about and how did you get involved in it? And at what point did you have the confidence that you could run a business?
No doubt. I mean, I'm still learning my confidence, as we all are. I mean, I'm a never ending learner in life, to be quite frank. I don't think that journey's ever done. And I'll talk more about like where I get education and leadership values from myself. But yeah, being my dad started the company in 1989. Prior to that, he was in sales for a variety of places. Word processing, word systems
Hmm.
were prevalent of the day. It was pre-internet, pre-email, and this innovative technology came out called the fax machine. And it really was the first IoT device, if you really want to get technical at that point. And it was magical. Before that, in business, you'd have to send things via mail versus this
Sure.
electronic magic, which was the fax machine of the day. I tell people in my generation, they kind of laugh it off because it really was pre our time. There's remnants of it out there, but we don't sell too many fax machines these days.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, that industry morphed into multifunction printers, copiers, and managed print services, which we're still number one in the market these days and have an incredible business in that regard, but have diversified to help our clients in a variety of ways, which I'll get into as well.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the business. It literally started out of my house. I was about 5 years old. So my dad needed to sell that fax machine or little Eric wouldn't eat. Talk about motivation. I respect the heck out of entrepreneurs for that reason alone. I lived it. I lived in that environment, scarcity,
Mm.
making abundance, making the most of what's important in life and really cherishing family to get you through hard times. But, long story short, my dad was successful. He was able to sell, he was able to connect that technology with people that needed it and really set the foundation and trajectory for our company. So it's been incredible. Leaving private equity was tough for me, but I really thought I could bring my talent to our business, small
Mm.
business at the time, and really help it on its next chapter in innovation and growth.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us a little bit more about the company. Say the name again. What do you guys do? How do you help people?
Yeah, so we're Braden Business Systems out of Indiana, central Indiana, but we serve nationwide. You know how organizations struggle with technology and organizations struggle with technology, all facets of it. It's getting more and more complex. Well, we basically built a system that allows them to get their life back, get their time back, and really focus on their core mission. We help over 10,000 businesses with that
Wow.
nationwide.
Wow.
Heavily concentrated in the Midwest, of course, because this is where our roots is from. But we really help them simplify technology and make it used to their advantage. So rather than just surviving, which is important from a cybersecurity perspective, we help them thrive with AI, automation, et cetera. So we do that across a platform of technologies, everything like I mentioned, the copiers and the printers, managed print services, managed IT services, where we're ranked number one now in Indiana and
Yeah.
Chicago, like you mentioned, as well as AI automation. As you can imagine, we're in pretty high demand right now.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yes. And the sorting through which AI is helpful versus it's just the flavor of the month. I would imagine you guys help lean in on those conversations as well and guide and direct your clients.
We do the 101 through the advanced. So it
Uh-huh.
depends on where your journey is in business and what you're trying to accomplish. But we can start with just the foundational principles, which are where a lot of business leaders are, whether they be 700-person companies or 5-person companies, or if you're going down to 2.0, 3.0 discussions on agentic AI, et cetera, we can help.
Yeah, very cool. So I'm assuming that there's been different times in the business journey where the company's been stuck or had a challenge to overcome. We know that all successful businesses go through that. So tell us about your biggest challenge as part of the ownership team and how you worked through it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we've had many forks in the road. I went back to our founding, right? If we were still selling fax machines, we'd probably be in some trouble right now. So we've been innovating with our clients since 1989. So I really vision us as an innovation company because we keep our clients one step ahead of their future, so to speak, and help them vision technology. So it's a massive responsibility. We have incredible talent, incredible community partners that really bring all resources to bear to really help businesses achieve their outcomes. So there's a lot that goes into that. Forks in the road would be when I first joined the company, we were mainly a copier and printer company, and
Mhm.
our customers kept asking us, "Can you help us with our IT? Our IT is terrible. We need to go to cloud. We need this. We need that." And I'm
Yeah,
like, well, let's stop saying no. Let's build a path to yes if it aligns with the customer value we're trying to create for them.
yeah.
And that's been an incredible motion for us. So we got into that via acquisition. When
Okay.
I joined, we've done 17 acquisitions since I joined in 2014. Some sizable, some not so sizable, but they all add up. And
Yeah.
some added new capabilities, like I mentioned, to our stack that we deliver to clients. So I view it as, are we adding value to clients? That's our mission.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting how life opens doors? So a cold call led you into M&A experience and now 17 acquisitions. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, before joining Braden, I had some experience. I did about 75 transactions on the buy and sell side, as well as sat on board level company level, at the private equity level, hiring and firing CEOs, CFOs, CROs, you name it, whatever O you talk about, I've dealt with it. And that gave me the confidence to come in and help lead Braden in the next chapter. Of course, I'm always learning though. I mean, the new challenge is everyone else's challenge: how to use AI to your advantage without dehumanizing the process,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
even when I post on my own social media, I built my own chat GBT AI, but I still need to make sure my personality and our
Yes.
business ethos is represented, right?
Yes. I've had some fun arguments with my chat GPT. I'm like, where did that come from? I thought you said you were going to follow my rules, you're right. I just made that up. I'm like, well, don't make it up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I hope that ChatGPT doesn't have feelings, because if it gets mad at us, I'm not sure what happens next. But
I know. I've told my wife it's fun arguing with him because he always apologizes.
yeah, good luck on those statements with your wife. I'm going to leave you at
Right?
that. You're on your own with those. I got no advice for you.
Eric, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to pick three people in your business owner journey that you're most grateful for them being there to help with the business's growth. So, who are those three people and how'd they help you?
There's no way I can pick three. I'm sorry, Tim. I'm going to break your rule right now. I need an absolute village, an army, an arsenal, a tribe, you name it. So, I mean, first and foremost, God, my wife and kids who keep me grounded, and a foundation of motivation and love and trust. My dad and mom, I couldn't have asked for better parents. So I got a lucky hand in life, for so many reasons, and I can get into that. My family in general, I'm very blessed to have them. Our team, I mean, I stand on the shoulders of giants here at Braden. I'm just so freaking blessed every day to be able to help impact our mission and help add to their winning as well. Lifelong friends that I've had since birth through college that I picked up along the way, Wall Street mentors in private equity and investment banking. And then for a really cool one that I've been a part of since 2016 was YPO.
Hmm.
Young Presidents Organization has been absolutely incredible. Everyone in the Indiana chapter and nationwide and internationally, quite frankly, so many learnings along the way. And my forum specifically, shout out to my forum mates. There's six of us: Phil Daniels, Chris Campbell, Carly Ursay Gordon, Scott Wallsmith, Ryan Rands, and many, many more I could think along the way. But those are the few folks that have helped me. Like I said, way more than three.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, the path to building a successful business, Eric, it has a lot to do with our mindset as well as learning, as you've mentioned a number of times on this show. So, what's been your biggest learning as a business owner?
Like I said, I think it never ends. So I think having a beginner's mind and being open to opportunities and learning and growth is
Mm,
probably the biggest asset that I have. I mean, I don't think I come into the room humble because I feel like I can learn from the janitor or the CEO. And the answer is that's true.
mm.
I found that to be true in my life. And I always try to keep an open mind and coach others on keeping an open mind on things. There's so many other things that I've learned over the years by modeling and seeing other good leaders and trying to model the good ones that I've looked up to and respected, whether they be authors or whether they be in my actual life. And the ones that I didn't like working with, and I'm not going to name names, that I worked with on Wall Street that were grinding me a pulp at 3 a.m. I don't miss that. So I wanted to lead it in a different way and build a culture and an environment that people want to be a part of. It's still hard work, but you might as well have fun with the people you work with.
Yeah, indeed. You've you're obviously, wearing multiple hats and you get the acquisitions and the innovation. So how do you find time to learn?
I actually prioritize it, and you can only prioritize through effective delegation. And delegation can be abdication. So I've really learned a framework over the years, and there's more than one, but EOS really resonated with me back in 2015 when I was first exposed to it, and have implemented that in every aspect of our business.
Mhm.
I feel like every division to be successful in business needs a visionary and an integrator, if you know EOS nomenclature. And that's been incredibly important as a offensive weapon for our business, because I feel like anytime you're missing one of those elements, that's normally when you find something's off.
Mm, yeah. For those of you not familiar with EOS, it's a different way to say CEO and president. So, there needs to be somebody who's thinking strategic and big picture and right coming up with the ideas, and then there needs to be somebody who can land the plane and right and do the operations and connect the dots and we're hardwired differently, right? Some of us are naturally more of that big picture visionary thinker, and some of us are more naturally the dot the I's, cross the T's, right? Likes the execution and the details. So knowing that teams need both, it's a way to make sure that you've got the team, full properly resourced to be able to do that.
100% agree.
So you said prioritize it. So for folks listening who are like, well, but Erik, don't you know that there's all these other things and priorities and so how do you force the prioritization?
Yeah, one thing I've learned over time is I can't come in with my thousand ideas and execute on them in real time like I'd like to. The world doesn't exist in my mind. So I've really had to focus on a team can have bite-sized pieces and what's the most important thing.
Mm,
So in every meeting that we have, I always like to have the one big thing that's holding us back from our BHAG, very big, hairy, audacious goal, and really make sure that whatever we're rallying towards has that in mind.
yeah.
And another big thing that I've found is core to our values and our mission is like true service mentality. And a lot of
Mhm.
people say that, but we operate it from a daily by we only take on clients that we're going to serve with excellence. We're going to say no to a big percentage of clients that ask us for help. And
Yeah.
that's not out of saying that we can't go and do something for somebody. We just think they might be served in a different direction. But the ones that we do serve, the 10,000 plus and growing clients,
Yeah.
they never leave us. Our,
Yeah.
our, our client satisfaction rate is 97% and our retention
Right.
rate is 98%. But
Right.
that's through intention. We only scope and quote clients that we're going to serve well for multiple decades in a true partnership. We're not chasing a transaction. We want a true partnership.
Yeah.
And it's a rule around here. If we scope something wrong or quote something wrong and they're not happy, it comes down on the team because we don't want to be doing that. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad taught me sleep with both eyes closed, and I'm not going to change anytime soon. A way better way to sleep. So
I love it.
I teach our team that it's hard to say no sometimes when people want to work with us,
Yeah.
but if it's not a fit, we're not going to go outside of what's a fit that's going to really truly serve that business and the outcome in the very long term. Because a lot of these folks are either friends or friends of friends, and they're not going to call me up upset. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. You mentioned BHAG and earlier you mentioned your faith. Someone I recently had on the show defined the BHAG as big, hairy, audacious God goal. And they talked about it in terms of service and right and doing what's right and taking care of clients and making sure that the eternal impact that our business is having, right, is to your point, like we can sleep at night and know that we're doing, what God's calling us to do through our business.
Yeah, I align with that 1000%. I mean, I don't know if you've read Simon Sinek's Infinite Game book. He's got Start with Why, which is incredible. Infinite Game is also that concept, but I swear I live by that. And I try to teach people in our office and just I come across and mentor in business that you're not going to be happy with yourself if you chase a transaction, it goes wrong. Like, what are you doing? Chase your legacy, chase your impact, chase the outcomes that benefit people
Yeah.
and things. It's law of reciprocity. If you help
Mhm.
somebody achieve what they're trying to do in life, it does come back someday.
Indeed.
And again, it could be the janitor or the CEO. I just operate from service, whether it's someone who just started our company who needs help doing whatever they need help doing. So I operate that way. It tends to work out. Try to have other people. And the more people on your team that are doing that, the more goodwill you accrue with the community, the more good deeds we do, the more giving we do, it tends to come back someday. And again, I'm playing the infinite game. That's other people play at different games, but I'm not. I'm going to keep playing mine.
I love it. Hey, Erik, what's a piece of advice or guidance that you'd have for business owners who are feeling stuck or discouraged in their business?
Yeah, I mean, I think finding a good outlet for others that you trust. I really view my YPO forum, if you will, as my informal or formal board of directors,
Yeah.
informal, and others like that. Other groups that are like that are CEO peer groups, depending on like your size of organization, maybe get with some folks that are slightly ahead of you,
Mhm.
not from like ego perspective, but maybe they've leveled up on some challenges or forks in the road that you faced. I will tell you, every business leader has faced a similar challenge at some point in their career and their journey through their network. So don't feel like you're isolated and have to do it all alone. That would be my first advice. There's tons of books I could throw out. If you're a startup, read eMyth 2.0. That's always the book I recommend. That's kind of EOS, pre-EOS from a foundational principle standpoint. But if you're well into your journey, it's similar frameworks I discussed. But again, I would go to your network of CEOs and leaders. I have friends that are CEOs that have much larger companies than me that reach out to me for advice and help. I
Sure.
can give them my 2 cents, and sometimes it's gold for them, especially if it's an M&A or private equity context or board level context,
Yeah.
strategic context. I can be helpful, and I always help. So, and again, it tends to benefit us in the long run too.
Yes.
So
You mentioned that we all have gone through challenges. I sometimes I hear people that say, "Well, I think it's just me, and I don't want to bother these people because they seem to have it all together, and they're probably they probably don't struggle or wrestle with these things." What would you say to those folks?
you're wrong. I can elaborate, but you're wrong. I mean, you're not the first one to go through it. You're going through your own journey, but the simulation of what you're going through right now has been gone through before by someone else, and more often than you realize. So I would say 9 out of 10 business leaders, if they're open to it, would be willing to help you at least for a 5 minute conversation. If you want 5 hours,
Yeah.
some would be willing to give that. I have given a lot of my time to certain folks in my network with no benefit whatsoever, other than just I get a kick out of helping, being valued, right? And I look for that in others. I think my biggest deficiency that I'm trying to get better at is asking for more help,
Mm.
asking for the forks in the road, because you face new ones every day in business. It's never ending.
Correct, right? Yeah. And your 9 out of 10, I've found the same is because we've all gone through the similar types of things, we all want to pay it forward because somebody paid it forward to us, right? And like being able to help somebody else is very gratifying. And oftentimes we learn through the sharing and giving advice of, oh yeah, you know what? That's really good advice. I should take myself.
Yeah, and I found, I mean, a big reason why I said no to a lot of these podcasts and interviews is I didn't think that I had a lot to give, but I think it's part of just turning 40. I'm like, I find myself as more senior in the room, and I'm like, wow, I'm talking a lot. I'm giving a lot, and I'm getting called a lot from other CEOs that are way larger than us in all different types of scenarios, whether they be billionaires or whatnot. But um, I do have a lot to give, so I'm gonna start giving more,
Yeah.
and also asking for help.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that asking for help, it's an interesting one, isn't it? That there's a little can be a little bit of fear and apprehension until we do it, and then right, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, why didn't I do that earlier?
Yeah, and it's amazing how people rally to your cause, even in a brief comment. I've had folks in my YPO group and meetings where I'm struggling with something, and it'll be a single comment that they've gone through in the past. I'm like, oh, well, that's what it was. Now that problem's gone. It's like just amazing. Not everything's like a magic pill like that, but I've experienced in my own journey. But it's by having those close leaders on your life journey with you and adding new people to the mix that have skill sets and that you're trying to look up to or build towards that are a little ahead of you on your journey. And the best way to help those folks is give. If you can give to those folks, show value. You don't have to, but I think that helps even make it even better and easier for you to make that request or that ask some days to give first.
Yeah, indeed. Yes. Yep. Eric, as you think about the next year, what's your either the biggest challenge that you want to work through, or the most exciting growth opportunity that you haven't fully capitalized on?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we've built out a pretty robust stack of solutions to where, I mean, you can't get higher than number one in your market other than going down. So we are going to continue to build on what we have. The foundation is incredible. The momentum's incredible, but we are trying to get our name out there a little bit more. We've kind of been the best kept secret here, and I don't think that's fair to my team. So I'm trying to get out myself personally. You're going
Mm,
to see some other promotions to our marketing team, et cetera, to really help our team win and serve more clients.
yeah.
So that kind of marketing, call it sales, call it outreach, community, and bringing all forces to bear. And our story tells itself. I mean, our clients really do refer us. Word of mouth has taken us since 1989 till now, which is absolutely incredible to say that out loud. But now we're going to do some modern AI driven marketing, outreach, et cetera, to really, share our mission and be able to do more in the community. So I view it as a flywheel of success. The more successful we are as a business, the more community impact we can benefit. So we
Mhm.
like to partner with nonprofits. We give to hundreds of nonprofits a year, some silently, some formally in public. We're going to be telling a lot more of those stories and being a lot more involved with those endeavors as well.
Yeah. And this question is going to sound somewhat obvious, but why is that important to you?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back down to my infinity game mindset. And I think everyone here wants to serve a truer calling than just selling a copier or printer or fixing an IT ticket, right? If that's what we were doing like robots all day, we might as well pack up and go home now. I'm here to serve my family, my community, my team, and really see the impact on our state and beyond. I mean, part of the reason I moved back to Indiana is to really have a small piece of that impact. So I was meeting with the mayor the other day, and we were just looking around downtown Fishers, Indiana, and how much it's developed. We were one of the core initial projects here, and now it's built up all around. It's just incredible to be a part of something like that.
Very cool. Yeah, that eternal impact or infinite impact that you said. I love that philosophy of how the more people that know, the more that you're able to impact and influence and make a difference in other people's lives, the more employees you're able to take care of and impact their lives. That's awesome. The flywheel concept. I love that thinking. So.
Yep.
Erik, last question. Jim Rohn, one of his famous quotes is, "We become the average of the five people that we spend the most time with." So you've talked about that a little bit in terms of YPO. As you reflect on that, what advice would you have for business owners who, are feeling stuck or overwhelmed and are just trying to do it on their own?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to reiterate myself a little bit, but find a business networking group, whether it's Vistage or there's other ones, EO or YPO if you qualify at that point, and start getting in those rooms, spending time working on your business, not just in your business. Talking with coaches like yourself, quite frankly, could be impactful for some folks, depending on where they're at in their journey, and be open to resources.
Mm.
Never stop learning. And at the end of the day, you are a compounded result of your habits. If you
Mm.
show me your current habits, I will show you your future. I don't know if that's Jim Rome or me right now, but I learned it somewhere. And my mom always scared the heck out of me as a kid, being asking me, and again, this is from a faith-based concept too, is what are you doing when nobody's watching?
Mm.
That is the testament to your outcome in your future, is the habits that you're doing. Are you choosing to pick up that book to learn? Are you choosing to make that extra cold call? Are you choosing to just watch Netflix? That choice will define your future, and only you are going to be the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror living with that future. Not me, not Tim, you.
Amen to that. And as you even write the intro, right? You made the cold call that landed you on Wall Street and the learnings that you've got. So if you had feared yourself out of making those calls, it would have been a different journey, right?
Yeah, and I still have fears. Coming on podcasts right now was on my list. Public speaking was on my list. The only way to get over fear is doing it, exposing yourself to that fear, coaching yourself to get through it. And the sun will come up tomorrow, I promise you. So don't be afraid to be bold and try things and iterate. The first time you do something isn't going to be perfect, and you will get better the more repetition that you do. So don't be afraid to try. We all try. I try, and that's okay. You're not going to land perfect on the perfect punch the first hit, but if you practice, you're going to get better.
I appreciate you being vulnerable about that, and it reminds me of the concept that no growth happens in our comfort zone, right? And so we've got to step out of our comfort zone, and then by doing that, right, we learn and evolve, and our comfort zone becomes bigger. But there's got to be that pressure, right? Of what's the either internal pressure or external pressure to step out and do something new and different and learn it and figure it out and all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's not scary anymore because I've gone through it.
Yeah, my mental trick with this, and again, I'm coming up with this on the fly because I'm going through it with you right now. This is the second podcast I've ever been on. I've said no for the last 10 years. I'm not kidding. Is that who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for myself? Or am I doing this for our team to win more, to
Mm,
serve more clients, to serve our community more, and to serve kind of my infinite game more? That's why I'm doing it.
wow.
Well,
Yeah,
if that's in my head, in my heart, in my spirit, I can do anything.
yeah,
But if I'm doing it for myself and I'm psyched out, I'm going to crumble under my own weight.
I
So
love
that's
it.
why I'm here right now.
Yes, so you're that pressure of it's a bigger purpose and I'm gonna lean into it and then just trusting that it's gonna work out however it's meant to be.
100%. And again, you may not do the best your first or second try, but you're going to get better and you're going to get over your fear. You expose yourself to fear, that fear starts to slowly go away to where
Yeah.
you're like, why was I fearful of that in the first place?
I remember to similar thought process when I decided to start this podcast, 200 interviews ago. I've looked back at that one and it was terrible. I was a
But
terrible.
but that's by your own judgment, right? And you have gotten better. I can probably tell you that, but I haven't looked at the first one. But people that have watched that didn't know you probably thought it was great.
Sure. Sure.
So you're in your own head judging yourself. I'm guilty of it too,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
day
Yeah.
long. I'm
Yeah.
guilty of it. Call it insecurity, call it whatever you want. And we all have our phobias or our fears, but like you gotta press through it if the juice is worth the squeeze.
Absolutely.
Keep that vision in mind for yourself. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? If you face this fear, will it help you on that journey or not? If it doesn't help you on your journey, maybe it's a distraction. But if it
Yeah.
helps you on your journey, push through it. I promise you it's worth it.
Awesome advice. I appreciate it. Sounds like you've been blessed with some incredible people in your journey of business ownership. If they were all here with us today, what would you want to say to them, Erik?
Yeah, I'm just so grateful for everyone in my life. I mean, eternally grateful. I mean, they know that I'm a hugger. I'm not quite a crier, but I'll tear up here and then. But like, I really am so blessed. I don't know if God's watching me and at every step of my journey, and I've had my pitfalls too, for sure. But the people that have picked me up along the way, my YPO family, my actual family, God Himself, I've needed every ounce of that to continue along my mission, my journey, and help others along the way too. So if I can be a piece of that for someone else out there, please let me know. I want to help.
I love it. Thank you so much for your giving mentality and your willingness to come alongside others and stepping out of your comfort zone and being on our podcast today. It's been a
Here I
pleasure
am.
speaking with you and having you share your story. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Tim. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to our show and following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. To join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Please pay it forward and be sure to tune in next time to the Self-Made is a Myth podcast.